morning, children. How's it going out there? I'm kind of excited today a little bit, not to sound like a total dweeb, but we are going to be doing some creative writing today and building our own blogs to have some communication. So what's it all about? What are we talking about here? Well, today, first, we're using literary technique to compose poems. We are going to be forming 3 haikus, utilizing specific techniques. And the reason for that is because people learn about writing the best from the inside, from actually doing it and actually experimenting with the techniques, as opposed to just being shown an example and saying, okay, this is what this does, this is what this does, blah, 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 blah. Let's do something. After that, we're going to be creating our own Catcher in the Rye blogs. Next week, we're going to start reading our novel, and for each chapter, it's going to be important for us to communicate the ideas that are popping up in our heads. We are going to use our personal blogs to do that, okay? We're going to use it for analysis, for reactions, and for most important, just kind of sharing what's on our mind. Hopefully today or early tomorrow, you will also be posting your very first piece on your blog. Okay, first let's talk about these haikus. So you're going to be asked to create 3 of them. Each of them utilizes one specific technique: figurative language, juxtaposition, repetition, imagery, or diction and tone. Now, before you actually compose your individual piece, you need to think about how the technique can help the audience understand a simple, deeper idea that you have going. Okay, you need to think about what the intended effects of each of these techniques could be. Now, keep in mind that this document is found attached to today's, oh my God, pot, come on. What is this? What is this? Amateur hour? Oh my God. Okay, this document is found attached to today's post. Make sure to read all of those directions, including taking a look at those examples. For a quick walkthrough of what this actual writing activity will look like, okay, at the top of each of your 3 haiku organizers, you're going to see this right here. This indicates what the technique you will be using will be. For some of them, you will have multiple choices, but for your first one, it's going to be imagery or sensory detail. Next, you look at your topic. You're going to pick either you're writing about the forest, anything that has to do with the woods or the forest or the country, and the city, okay? Anything that has to do with a big city, small city, anything that has to do with the city at all. The next thing you want to think about is, okay, what point do you want to make about the forest or the city? Keep in mind, it should be pretty simple, like, the city is extremely busy, or the forest helps me find peace. Okay, these are the ideas you're going to try to express without just saying them directly in your haiku. Next, you want to think about, okay, how can you use this specific technique, imagery or sensory detail, to get that point that you just figured out across? This is asking you to think about, okay, what is the intended effect of this technique? There's going to be a big fat list of them on the main document though, so use that to your advantage. Then, what specific visual or sensory details will make that idea clearer? And then how will they do that, okay? So you have to think about, okay, so what's the connotation of this sensory detail? Or what's the connection or emotion associated with this sensory detail? If I'm trying to say that the forest fills me with a sense of peace, what images are going to help people understand that concept of peace? And then finally, right over here, you'll plop your haiku. You'll actually write the piece in that box. Okay, a couple of quick points about the haiku. First, do the topic or the techniques which sound most interesting to you first. Don't just go 1, 2, 3. Pick the ones that sound most interesting and work on those first, because I don't want you spending a million years on this. If by the 3rd haiku you've already spent 40 minutes working on the doc, call it good, call it a day, and then move on to something else, all right? As long as we get at least 1 or 2 really solid haikus that utilize those techniques, okay, I will be satisfied. On to the blogs. Okay. Now, in order to share ideas with one another, we're going to be using these blogs. We need to have a way that we can offer up bigger, more salient ideas more effectively. Okay, make sure you examine my model first. I've got it linked in the classroom. Make sure to hit the read more button to see everything that's in there, because I've given you a lot of really helpful stuff. Okay, it even shows you how you should be posting one of your haikus, because remember that your first blog post is going to be a selection of one of your haikus and a brief explanation about how your technique helps the ideas within it come alive. You want to follow the directions in the starting your blog or blog document. That looks like this. Okay, I've even given you some helpful images to help you put things together. Note the red arrows. They're there for your help. Use them. Okay, and then make sure that you're commenting on my first post to show me that you've actually done all this stuff and you understand what's going on. Okay, that's going to be a graded kind of direction read thing. That's going to be 5 points. Finally, for your first blog post, just make sure that you give a greeting, tell us how you're doing, what's going on in your life, post the haiku you feel is strongest, and give us a short breakdown of the poem's theme or big idea. Okay, the technique that it uses, and how the technique helps a reader understand the poem's idea. Finally, double finally, you are going to want to make sure that you add your name and your blog address link into this directory so we can share with each other. Oh my God. Having a rough morning, children. Okay? So that we can share our blogs with one another and communicate more effectively that way. All right, I think that's it for me for now. Make sure you are following the directions. Make sure you are doing your thing out there. And if you have any questions at all, don't reach out.